Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the electrifying world of EFED Broadcast Channel. Before we dive into the heart-pounding action, let's set the stage with a brief disclaimer. The following content is an EFED Broadcast Channel event created within the WWE 2K universe. All characters, storylines, and events are fictional and exist solely for entertainment purposes. Any resemblance to real-life individuals, living or deceased, is purely coincidental. Viewer discretion is advised. This show may contain intense simulated combat, dramatic rivalries, and over-the-top personas. It's all in good fun, but please remember that these are digital avatars, so grab your imaginary popcorn, suspend your disbelief, and let's get ready to rumble. Now, let the virtual battles commence.
I like your take on boobies. And I like boobies.
Gun, higher.
I am the higher.
Don't
Test
higher.
gun. I am the higher gun.
Don't
Test me.
I am the
I am the
I am the higher gun who bout to set it off. Watch me leap from the top with the coup de grace. It's scary hours for you and all of y'all. How you want a submission to pinfall? I am the higher gun who bout to set it off. Watch me leap from the top with the coup de grace. It's scary hours for you and all of y'all.
And welcome to the Turnbuckle Talk podcast with your host, the Higher Gun. First, like, subscribe, share. Alright, so let's get into it. You know, sometimes there's a dry season, pause, and there's like when it comes to wrestling, sometimes you can't talk about wrestling 24/7. I mean, I can, but like news-wise, like sometimes sometimes it's not easy to talk about it. So now, this episode, not so much, and maybe because it's WrestleMania week, soon to be WrestleMania weekend. So I got something to talk about, y'all. So we just gonna get into it and see when I stop. So, alright, so let's get down to the easy stuff. Raw. Raw was a good 7. Good 7. It wasn't nowhere near as good as last week. Even though we had some good matches. I mean, the Ricochet match was pretty good. And they're pushing him. Like, they let him go out there and show the fuck out. You know, they let him go out there and do his thing, which is good. And, you know, we had the heavy hitters this week. Cody was there. Sorry. Cody was there. Seth was there. Seth even wrestled. I think that's his first match back from being hurt. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. Roman was there, and The Rock was there. Lil Wayne was at Raw, and he announced that he's gonna premiere his first single at Mania. So, you know, but it was more of a telling more stories. You know, telling more stories, setting more stuff up. This was more of a go home show, anything, which it should be, because it's the last Raw before Mania. It's like SmackDown's gonna be the last SmackDown before Mania, but you know, we're actually gonna get a match. We're gonna get the Andre Giants Royal Rumble for the men on that night, on Friday. The Rock is putting in his Rama in the Hall of Fame, which, you know, some people might get mad about that. because some people might see that as it should have been Bray Wyatt. I don't think Bray Wyatt should get in this year, and I'm gonna leave it like that. Speaking of Raw, and Roman's gonna introduce Paul Heyman to the Hall of Fame. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about Roman doing it. I mean, I get why. I mean, he's there, but it could have been Paul. I mean, Paul. It could have been CM Punk. It could have been Taker. It could have been the Dudley Boys. It could have been Sandman. It could have been Tommy Dreamer. It could have been Rock. All right, and how we feel about Rock right now, but it could have been him. But Roman's the easy out because that's who he's with now. Alright, and Roman's the easy out because, and listen, I'm not gonna knock Roman a lot. Alright, yeah, it just ain't really knocking Roman, it's knocking Paul and in the E because Roman's the easy out because that's who Paul is managing right now. But cool, I'm still watching, I'm still listening. I can't wait to hear the speech. So like it's cool. I'm just saying there was better options for me. But, I get it. So, speaking of Roman, there's a documentary out right now. Now, this documentary, it's the same documentary. It's probably there's only certain things I don't know about Roman, right? Because he got a semi documentary out already. So this legend one, it's just telling you stuff you already know. Like he had leukemia. Now what I didn't know is he's still taking a pill for it. That I didn't know. I thought he was doing that still. Excuse me. So, that I didn't know. I didn't know he was taking the pill for it still. But he is. I knew about a lot of stuff about this documentary already because since he got one again, he already has one out. All right, so this is just two. It's just more flavor with it. Paul talks more about him. The last part, maybe the last 15 minutes of it is more interesting than anything else about Roman. Like, he explains what he's doing with the bloodline. He explains how adding Sammy and what it did. He explains on why he got it solo. He explains what he did with Jay and Jimmy and how he made them matter. He made them separate identities, not just the twins, not just the Usos, not just the tag team champion. Which he did. He did. Because now you can tell Jimmy and Jay apart a whole lot more than you used to. I really don't praise Jimmy like that. But you can't tell them apart now. More Jay than Jimmy, but I hate but it was a good. I'm not gonna knock the documentary because it was pretty good. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes here. So, CM Punk was on MMA Hour yesterday, and boy, let me tell you, he said some stuff yesterday. He didn't hold back. The only stuff he hold back on is the stuff he couldn't talk about, and the only thing he can't talk about is the fight he had with the Bucks. All right, and Kenny. All right, that is the only thing he got in whatever it's called, a gag, a muzzle. on is that fight. The other fight, not so much. Not so much. He talked about that fight. He talked about, Jungle Boy and how Jungle Boy was cussing at everybody and how Punk wanted to leave the first time. Punk even told the story on how he didn't want to be there and how the second show wasn't going to work. Which it didn't work. Punk talked about how him and Paige had a planned promo, and Paige went off the wire. It talked about Colt Cabana. Punk even said Punk even said he don't even talk to Colt Cabana, and Colt Cabana tried to talk to him, and CM Punk pretty much said, "Hey, I won't talk to you without a lawyer around," and that was it. Punk talked about how he was at Collisions and Jungle Boy was there when he wasn't supposed to be there, trying to film a promo, and he wanted to break a rental car and stuff. And Punk was like, "Yo, I'm trying to stop this from happening, so we can still rent cars and stuff." Punk talked about a lot of stuff. Like Punk talked about the fight and how he didn't punch Jungle Boy, he choked him out. Punk talked about how he didn't do anything to Tony Khan. Alright, so pretty much Tony Khan was at the line about fearing for his life and shit. And which, I'm gonna go back to Punk, but speaking of Tony Khan, he's doing something he ain't have to do in a minute. And it's all the hella ratings and stuff. Tony Khan had to cut people last night. Tony Khan had to cut people last night because of the fact that, it's all about ratings. And once you give money out, contracts out, and you're not getting the ratings you need or the deal you need from TV deals and stuff, you got to do something you don't want to do then, and that's release people. Now, point granted, these cuts that he did recently really don't matter, because these cuts is not hurting anybody, because these cuts were cuts that he's not using them. Like the people he cut, the boys from Don Castle, some other people he cut that's either already doing something somewhere else or it's not being used in the first place. So these cuts didn't matter. Now eventually he is gonna have to make some budget cuts that still gonna matter eventually. Let me not say that it's gonna matter. Like he's gonna have to cut some people eventually that he is using, or jobbers that matter, like Jay Lethal. I hate saying Jay Lethal. It's a job, but since he's been a jobber, So Jay and Don Castle, Johnny TV, pretty soon, just like he was hiring everybody and their mama, pretty soon he gonna have to fire some people and their mama, because of the fact that you can't keep dishing out money and the ratings don't show for it. He gave some big money to Rainmaker, Will Ospreay, and Sasha, and it ain't panning out right. I mean, show wise is panning out, rating wise is not panning out right now. When you getting 700,000 views and you're paying them like you should be getting 1 million views, it's a problem. But Punk talked about how he how he is paying royalties to what's his name? I forgot his name. He pays royalties for using the move. His finisher, the go to sleep finisher. Um, y'all know who I'm talking about. But you know, he pays royalties to him. You know, Punk talked about how coming back, how it happened. You know, Nick Khan called him and said, "Hey, I was thinking about you coming back." And I said, "Okay, let's talk." And then, you know, it happened in a week. Like it happened in a week. It happened real fast. And Punch said that like he almost came back the other time. When Fox had that TV show, which I knew, like he wanted to come back then. You know, it just didn't happen in time. You know, Point talked about how he had this tricep and the other tricep is two different injuries. You know, on how it felt. You know, he also said like he felt like he could have done something physical, but the doctors and them are talking like they're making him not do anything right now, but he feels like he can do stuff. You know, Point talked about how he's only seen Vince once, and it was before he got in trouble. Point talked about how he Point talked about how he's good with people. Like he talked about how he the day he showed up to Raw and he was backstage and he got kicked out. You know, Vince kicked him out. But he talked to Paul, which we knew. He was there to see. He was there to see Bailey. You know, and you know he's tight with Bailey. Like he was hanging out with Lil Morgan and everything. He talked to the Miz, and you know that was water under the bridge. You know whatever problem he had with the Miz and stuff. Pun talked about how he still got friends in AEW, which he does. He does. Pun talked about how this time is different. I mean, there's a video up with him and Orton, looking at a match back in the day, and how they're sitting in the breeze and you know they're talking now. Because back then they didn't talk. You know, Orton was like, you know, is that as you came home and stuff. You know, like find out, you know, Punk is an atheist, man. You know, that's probably why him and AJ don't get along. AJ's a Christian, you know. So, but you know, it was good. It was a good interview. It was a real good interview. Punk talked about everything besides Drew. You know, he talked about everything besides Drew yesterday. And it's funny. Now, when I talk about Drew, I'm not trying to knock him. But like the only reason Drew is where he's at right now, as we speak, is because he keeps dissing CM Punk to make himself relevant still. Punk doesn't have to diss Drew to be relevant right now. Punk just gotta talk and he's relevant. Drew has to keep talking about CM Punk to get over it. You know, and listen, this ain't really a knock at Drew. It's just because this is some of his best work he's ever done in a minute. This is some of his best heel work he's ever done. Okay? Alright? two of his best works is when he first turned face, before he became champion for the first time in WWE, alright? And when he turned heel this time, alright? But with the heel situation, it's he found a niche to catch on to, and he's running with it. And the niche is talking about CM Punk. Like I'm not saying CM Punk didn't come back or get hurt, like Drew won't be getting pushed still. It wouldn't have been this kind of push. Like no, because they would have found him something else to do. Him and Sammy probably would have been fighting right now. And Chad Gable probably would be fighting Gunther right now. Alright? But still, like Punk talked about everything besides Drew McIntyre. Because you know, Punk interview yesterday was more of a real interview than a kayfabe interview. You know? Like, because they even had on that same show they had Rhea. They had Rhea on that same show. But hers was more kayfabe and a build up to her and Becky. Cause Becky showed up on that same interview, you know. But so her show, her show was more of a hers was more of a trying to get stuff built for the pay per view, for Mania more than anything else, you know. Because CM Punk's interview was more serious because of the fact that you know when CM Punk does an interview, the first thing they want to know is about three things. They want to know about the fight, the Butts and Kenny Omega, but like I said, he ain't talking about that fight. All right. Matter of fact, Punk can't even talk about if that's how he got the injury in the first place from that fight. All right. But he didn't sign stuff because of what he did. That's what he said. Like, I didn't sign stuff for what I did. You know. So like Punk. All right. So that's one thing they asked about. Then the next thing they asked about is Fight 2 with Jungle Boy. And who was there? Joe was there. You know, and Joe backs Punk on what happened backstage too. So it's not like Punk's lying about what he said. You know. And then the more you hear about what happened that day, alright, the more you see why Tony Khan is so mad at Jungle Boy in the first place. He hasn't fired him, alright, but he just ain't using him. So Jungle Boy's out there in New Japan doing this thing because of the fact that Tony Khan don't know what to do with him. He's so mad at him, you know. Speaking of AEW, Ricky Starks, it was scary. It was scary because it looked like he got hurt or he got dizzy or woozy because he got hit with a Pele kick in the neck, and he got shucking up after that. And they had to adjust the match after that, you know. But he said he was okay, so that's good. Speaking of that, on Raw, listen, we almost had a bad incident on Raw with two things. Johnny Gargano went to dive outside the ring and he fell wrong, and it almost was an incident that we didn't need to have with Johnny's neck. All right, and then what else happened? And I don't want to say the more important because it's not so much, but Roman himself took a tumble because the announce table, the cover of it was on the floor, and they didn't see it, and both of them fell, you know, and they had to catch themselves. It's too soon. It's too soon to Mania. Like we in Mania weekend, dog. We don't need none of that shit happening. It's too soon to people get hurt. Which another person who got kind of nicked up, not yesterday, but Rhea. Rhea is having a cast on her arm, up on her wrist and stuff. Like, and she's okay, but you know, it's been bothering her, which is another reason why I think she's gonna lose. But I go in predictions Wednesday. But right now, you know, so you know, and again with Cody, Seth, Roman, and The Rock. At least this time, Cody got some licks in. At least this time, it wasn't an ass whooping that Cody didn't get no punches in, cause he did, you know. But Roman showed up again, like so, you know, and then Seth and Roman. I mean, then Seth and Cody got beat down again. But at least Cody got some licks in. At least Seth got some licks in too on The Rock too, you know. So at least that happened. So yeah. So Rock got it. Rock gonna get a 7 for me. It won't get a 10 like last week, but got a 7. That Punk interview was real good. Well, you know, yeah, because even though he got frustrated talking about stuff, but he knew, like he even said that he knew that they were gonna ask him questions because he doesn't do interviews like that. Like he doesn't. So, you know, so again, they're gonna ask him about the first fight, the second fight, and then they'll ask him about why he came out there to be. But when you hear the interview, he pretty much tells you that he's been wanting to come back for years now. Like he's been wanting to come back. Before he got them papers re-released the first time, it sounded like he wanted to come back, but they gave him his papers then. You know, like at his wedding. You know, so that was that then. You know, and then the other time when Fox was dealing with him, you know, it sounded like he wanted to come back then. And then the AEW stuff happened, and then you know, Punk, you know, one thing Punk said that it makes you think about AEW is the fact that Punk said that it's not a business, and Tony Khan's a nice guy, but he's not a businessman. And then all these cuts started happening afterwards, you know. So it's like, you know, he didn't say you can't make money there. He didn't say that, but he also said how things are ran right now. It's not a business. It's not a good business. He said, you know, he's happy his friends have jobs working with him, you know. But other than that, you know, and he also said, yeah, hey, if you want to have good matches, you go there. You know, like he didn't knock it like he could have. Punk just told his side of the story. That's all. You know, which you know, sometimes you hear all this stuff and you say fuck it, if they feel this way, they feel this way. Which he did say that too, but he wanted to get some stuff out there so people know that all this is not true. You know, he also said there's a difference between stuff he can talk about and just not talking about it. You know. So other stuff that happened this week and today. So I haven't watched the Bray Wyatt doc yet. I'm gonna get around to it probably today or tomorrow to watch it. See how it is. I watched Bianca and Montez Ford on the Pivot today. That was pretty good. They didn't talk about anything I didn't know about them. I knew Bianca had a problem with a food disorder and stuff like that. I knew Montez Ford had a problem the first time trying out, had all this weight and everything, so I knew about stuff like that already. But it was good to see them on the pivot. I watched that today. Um, what else? What else happened today? What happened yesterday? But like you could tell it's many a weekend because so much stuff going on. I think Cody's gonna be on MMA Hour today. You know, Triple was on YouTube on the Snicker show, picking out shoes and stuff recently. So like a lot of stuff happened in a matter of 2 days so far. You know, and we still got tonight for NXT. We set up some more stuff for that. You still got stuff setting up for like you still got Friday. Well, for SmackDown. You know, like there's still stuff to set up and get going. For SmackDown. Sammy beat. So Sammy got beat down by Gunther, too, and so did Chad Gable. So we still putting stuff out there. The tag team champion. Sorry. Judgment Day did their thing, and they destroyed New Day and DIY. And then we also found out that the tag team titles are going to be pretty much split. Okay, because the new stipulation for the tag team ladder match is that the match is not over until both belts are pulled down. So we're gonna get a Raw tag team champions, and we're gonna get a SmackDown tag team champions, and hopefully we get new titles. Titles for these belts too. I hope we get new designs for these belts because of the fact that it's the only thing that they haven't changed. Well, the IC title too, but it's the only thing that they haven't changed to make it different. It's the only thing they haven't changed yet. So we'll see what happens with that. My winners. I can't see Judgment Day. I can't see Judgment Day winning. Like I can't see Judgment Day winning or winning either belts because it's time for them to lose these belts anyway. So Miz and R-Truth, I think they're gonna win some, and I think Catch Republic are gonna win the SmackDown belts, or Jason Waller and Austin Theory. But I'm getting in the pits and I shouldn't have right now. Oh well, but yeah. So it's cool for them. I mean, they have enough tag teams now to run with it now. Way more than what they had last year. So they can run it better this year with two separate titles, like tag team titles. Oh yeah, so apparently there's gonna be a tournament for that speed show on X. So I already know Dragon Lee and Ricochet don't be in that because they're fast, and they can have fast-paced matches. JD Madonna is probably in that too. So we're gonna have more stuff. Like, I'm not a fan of this whole fasting matches though, but if they want to do anything, this should have just made a TV title or the European title, brought that back. So speaking of Clash of the Titans belt, I mean not belt, show got leaked. He's gonna be in Sterling. They having all these pay-per-views overseas now because that's where the money at. You know, so I'm here for it. I'm here for everything that's happening. Um, so I'm in the show with that. Um, Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share. Make sure y'all watch wrestling, watch EFBC. We should have a new show coming out pretty soon. And then the pay-per-view coming out next after that. And then we're on to the new game. So, like, subscribe, share. Make sure y'all watch wrestling. Make sure y'all watch EFBC. Make sure y'all watch the new breed. This is the Higher Gun. Love y'all. I'm out. God bless.